Good morning, and a quick intro to this video. Most likely what will happen is this video will be compiled of a few of my rest days because I didn't have enough footage to film pretty much a whole video's worth of just one day because most of my day was filled up of work. So this video will be a little mixture of the 25th and 26th, a run through of what I do in a day to day. Good morning. It is 7:15. I've got to go and do some cardio before I go to work. So come with me, do some cardio. Welcome to a full day. I woke up later than I wanted to. Basically said to myself that I was gonna get up much earlier. Being on a full day, I don't have the time to train. So ideally I want to make sure that my steps are high with the intention of doing cardio pretty much every single day. I'm trying to get up earlier and do my cardio before work so that my cardio is done, out of the way, and I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day pretty much. So we are currently on the way to the gym. I made sure that I meal prepped last night so that everything was already sorted. I weighed in this morning at 76.8, so that's a low from after my high days. So we did 2 high days, after which I weighed 77.7. Yesterday I weighed 76.6 and this morning I'm 76.8. With the check-ins that I did, the photos that we got and the look that we presented definitely put my mind into a better spot. Just under 8 weeks out now, energy is still good. Energy has actually probably been the best that it's been for the last few weeks. I haven't really felt energy dips as much, and I'm definitely overall mentally feeling a lot better. With it being the morning, I didn't want to take caffeine really because I knew that it was going to dump me for the rest of the day. Bearing in mind I'm going to be working till 10, 11 o'clock. I don't really want to be having caffeine this early and then relying on caffeine to not have a caffeine dump. So what I've done is I've put EAAs into 750 mils of water to replenish everything that I sweated out overnight and give me a bit of energy and recovery throughout. So cardio is done. Very hot and very sweaty. Now to get back, shower, have breakfast, and then we'll be on our way to work. Almost I left my keys on the bonnet of my car, and I was finishing up cardio and realized that I don't have my keys and was hoping that I didn't lock myself out. And as I was leaving, my keys were just sitting there on my bonnet. Someone could have stolen my car for 25 minutes, but nah, it's all right. Doesn't matter. It's not like I need my car or anything. That's prep brain for you. Put it down to film a little bit of footage and you end up just leaving them there. Cardio done. We have for meal 1, 4 bacon medallion and 2 eggs. So no carbs. No carbs for meal 1, no carbs for meal 2, carbs for the other 3 meals throughout the day. If you are a busy person or you have a busy schedule, then this is why prepping your food either at the start of the week or the night before so much more time this morning because I made all my food yesterday. So it allows me to go to the gym and do cardio. It allows me to have this meal and then go for steps and I'll still have time. Like I'm working 10 to 11, so a full day shift, but I still have plenty of time because I made sure that I was already prepped and ready the night before. So I don't have to worry about any of that stuff this morning. I don't have to rush around and cook for an hour because I've already sorted it all out. That's just kind of a really easy way to make your life easier if you're busy. Like spend an extra half an hour in the evening when you have no time restraints, no commitments that you have to do. You can sort out everything for the next day and it will take half an hour, if that. But either way, if it's done, the next day you don't have to worry about it. Good morning. We are 7 weeks out. Let's see how we're looking. Good morning, YouTube. So today we have a bit of arms as I'm not working till a little bit later. So we'll be on training day calories, so a little bit higher than usual. This morning I'm going to cook all my food, then I'm going to go to the gym, do a bit of training, take you along with that. So I'm currently prepping 350 grams of potato for my meals later. I have 2 potato meals in the day, in the evening. So I have 250 grams for the last meal and 100 grams for the second last meal. So I'm just cutting these up into little squares, pop them in the air fryer, 200 degrees for 18 minutes. Come out nice and crispy. I'll put a little bit of herbs and seasoning on top just to give it that little extra flavour. I am actually mixing between sweet potato and normal potato, mainly because I don't have enough of either. So I'm mixing up a little bit of both. So what I usually like to do is sprinkle a little bit of mixed herbs and a little bit of paprika. I've also put in 3 grams of olive oil just to give it that extra crispiness. And then we just do a little of salt. I'll put my hand over the top. I'll just shake it. And then what I'll do is I'll put it in the air fryer in this little mat thing. Dump it all in. And I'll put that on for 200 degrees, 18 minutes. Regarding my chicken, what I typically like to do is I'll batch cook. So I'll make a whole load, if not all of the chicken I have, so that it's all ready to go. And I can typically just grab it, pop it in a meal and go. What I'm gonna do is cut up more chicken than I need so that I have enough for tomorrow, for example, meaning that I don't really have to think about cooking chicken tomorrow, and all I have to think about is cooking the fundamentals, and then it makes my life just that little bit easier. So with my chicken, if I cook it on the barbecue, I'll leave it whole and I'll just cook it like that. Whereas if I'm cooking it on the hob or in the air fryer, I'll typically chop it up into chunks so then it cooks a little bit evener. Also, it means that when I put seasoning on it, the seasoning is evenly distributed throughout the meat, so you don't have like the outside being really flavoursome, and then as you get towards the inside, it just tastes like bland chicken. I'll cut it into chunks. I'll put some sort of seasoning on it, and this time I'm going to cook it on the hob because I need the air fryer for the potatoes, and I also need the air fryer for when I make my breakfast. So meal 1 for the day, same as yesterday pretty much, just with a bagel added because it's training. 2 eggs, 4 bacon medallions, 1 bagel, and then 50 grams of pineapple as well. With my pineapple, I used to always buy it packed, and it's just so much more expensive. Why would I do that? And now, just buy a massive pineapple, cut it all up, and it does the job. Yeah, it does the job very nicely actually. And a lot of the time I find that the pineapple from the actual pineapple is nicer than the pineapple that you buy. So, I mean, that's just personal preference. But yeah, I really love pineapple at the moment. Pretty banging, pretty banging. Meal 1 is done. Check-in is sent in, so I'm just waiting for what Carl has to say about how I'm looking. I go on a quick walk to kind of help this digest a little bit and prep my body ready for meal 2, which will be my pre-workout meal. Then we'll go to the gym, train a bit of arms. I'll take you through along with that. Once we come back from the gym, aim is to have meal 3, and then we'll be right back into the swing of things, straight to work, and the rest of the day carries on. Meal 2 is simple, effective, and does the job. Chicken, rice, and a bit of broccoli. So this is my pre-workout meal, and then I'll have the same, just with a slight bit more rice, for my post-workout meal. So I'm gonna eat this, I'll drink some pre, and then we'll be on our way to the gym. On our way to the gym, we're gonna be training biceps, triceps, a little bit of shoulders. This is unusual for me because on a full day of work, when I have a full day shift, typically I don't have time to train, mainly because I'll start work earlier before my gym opens, especially mainly on a weekend. The gym will open after or around the time that I start my shift, and then it will close far before my shift even is over. it's very unusual for me to be able to train on a weekend, especially when I'm doing a full day. So I'm very, very, very excited to be able to train today. I don't want to go in and do a half-hour session, so we're going to make the most of it. I haven't really spoke too much on off-season next year, and the main reason for that is because this is a prep series, and this series is all about my prep and getting me to the bodybuilding stage. But I do think it's important, especially for understanding my mental position and where I feel like I'm at, to talk to you guys a little bit about off-season and what my focuses are for next year. So coming out of this season, or definitely coming towards the further end of this prep, the main thing for me is that I want to increase size. So it's quite clear that I can hold some ridiculous condition and will continue to improve that over the next 8 weeks. However, it's also showing that there are places that I want a lot more size and where I could definitely grow better and focus more of my attention to. So for off season next year, the key things for me to grow are my legs. I want my legs a lot bigger. Not only does that make posing better and easier, because you can improve the flow and the look of a pose purely based off of the way that you place your feet. At the moment, because of my size, not lack of size, but the lesser amount of size that I have, I'm trying to bring my legs closer together to make them look bigger and remove more gaps between my legs. However, that's actually starting to make my legs look a little bit worse, because I'm almost changing the look of my leg to make them bigger when actually it's almost making them look a little bit smaller. I'm definitely trying to change the position of my leg so that they're in a position that actually looks good, and sacrifice the fact that they might look slightly smaller, but in turn, because the posing is better and the condition is there, it doesn't matter. But next year, definitely a massive drive for me is pushing for size on my legs, because I just don't think I have enough size. And I know that part of that is body dysmorphia and always wanting to improve and be better. But aside from that, it's more for me as a growth as a bodybuilder, understanding places where you need to bring up will only make you better as a bodybuilder and will only improve your overall look and aesthetic. Another place is side delts. Want to bring up side delts more, because as everyone knows, having larger side delts just gives your top line so much more of a better look. And to pair with side delts, I also want upper chest more. So focus for next year is definitely full-blown legs, making sure that whether it's increasing food for and on leg days, so that we have quicker recovery and we can push them harder, tweaking the exercises, but also focusing on increasing side delt volume and increasing more upper chest focused exercises. I think that's the main thing that I want to bring up. There's other little bits, like my triceps could definitely grow a little bit more. My biceps are big, but because of the insertions of my biceps, they don't necessarily look the biggest. So they can definitely improve there. And I think I do also want to bring up my forearms a little bit more, because what we're starting to realize is my biceps are big because of the short insertions and the high insertion of my biceps. When I do a side bicep pose, a side chest, there's quite a bit of gap between my forearm and my bicep, mainly because when I tense the bicep, it comes higher up due to the short insertion. So by increasing the growth of my forearms and making my forearms bigger, it means that it will make that gap smaller, increasing the look and size of my biceps, even if my biceps don't necessarily grow. But then also my forearms will get bigger, so they'll look bigger. So my overall arm shape will be better. So that's definitely something. Like, I've never really trained, I've never really focused on forearms. I've always kind of thought as forearms as a secondary kind of muscle and just something that will grow when I'm doing back exercises without straps or something like that. Whereas I definitely want to bring a bit more focus and attention into forearms. But like, there's no point me doing that now in a prep, because yes, people say that you can't grow in a prep, and of course you can grow muscle in a prep due to your focus of high protein in your diet to maintain muscle, but you do also have the carbs and the energy. And as long as you're training, the protein in your diet aids you in the recovery of your muscles. And as long as you're training with a high intensity, you're still going to be stimulating your muscles to grow. So yes, your growth is going to be slower because you're not going to have as much energy and as much carbs in your system to like accelerate the growth or accelerate the repair. However, it is still very much achievable to grow in the off season, in the prep. But for me, there's just no point in putting my time and attention into growing my forearms when it's not actually a necessity. So the main thing is, when we go into the growth phase next season, definitely focusing on a little bit. I'm not talking about a massive amount of forearm training, but a little bit will definitely improve and go a long way for the physique in look wise. But yeah, that's just a little insight on my off season kind of plan, what I'm looking to bring up and improve. So made it to the gym. We're going to go train some biceps, but the main thing while we're here is our 25 minutes of stairs. So let's go get it. Exercise number 1 is lateral raises. So I'm going to do single cuff. Sometimes I'll do double cuff, not always. Main thing is trying to keep our elbow in line. Think about driving up from our elbow. What we don't want to do is like bringing our elbow up and then letting our hand fall. We want to try and keep your hand and your elbow in line as much as we can. But we're not thinking about pulling up from the hand. We're thinking about pulling up from the elbow. I like to have a slight pause at the bottom. With a lateral raise, there are so many different factors that can affect the way that you do it and the intensity of the exercise. So the main thing with the lateral raise is we don't need to focus on the weight that you're moving. Obviously, you don't want it to be far too light, but at the same time, you don't want it to be so heavy that you can only get 5-6 reps. So with the lateral raise, the main thing to think about is time under tension and the intensity of the exercise. And there's 3 ways that you can increase the intensity of a lateral raise. You can either increase it by the weight, you can increase it by the more time under tension, or you can increase it by the amount of reps that you are doing. So for a lateral raise, the main way that we want to increase the intensity of the exercise is by increasing the volume, so increasing the amount of reps, and also increasing the time under tension, whether that's slowing it down on the way down, holding at the pause, increasing your time in the stretched position, and also increasing the amount of reps. If you're getting to a point where you're doing far too many reps and your time under tension is good, then the main thing that you want to now think about is, okay, let's bring up the weight a little bit and repeat the whole process again. Feels like we're dancing in the eye of the storm. Between the gray skies, blurred lines waiting for the dawn. Forget about the outside, baby, for the first time I can finally breathe. Maybe this is our night, nothing but a storm, right? And now I take the lead.
and soar above it all.
If you're someone that struggles with time in the gym, then supersets will be your best friend. For example, today, I'm very cut for time. I need to do my cardio at a set time so that I'm home in time to get ready and prepare myself for work. So what does that mean? I've got to either A, cut my session short, or find a way where I can increase the amount of exercises I'm doing in a shorter period of time. Now, if just by thinking about it, if I was to cut down all of the time and almost rush my session, I'm not going to be getting the most out of the session, and therefore there isn't really point in me doing it. So what I need to do is find a way to cut it all down without feeling like I'm rushing, and that's where supersets come in. For example, I can do a bicep curl and a tricep push down in the same period of time after each other as a superset. I'm working both my biceps and my triceps in a short period of time, and it saves me an extra 5 to 10 minutes per exercise. You can use this over many different exercise variations, whether it's bicep curls, lateral raises, triceps, whatever it is that you need to do. I'm sure you can find it. Leg extensions and hamstring curls is another good example for where you can superset 2 different muscle groups without impeding each other. The main thing with the tricep push down is exactly the same as both the bicep curl and our lateral raises. Especially if it's a push down, then focusing more on weight is okay if you want to treat it more as a compound movement. However, if you're treating it more as an isolation movement, maybe you want to be thinking about the rope push down, because then with the extension, you can really focus on the squeeze at the bottom of the rep and controlling the weight up. So the main thing that we want to think about when we're doing a tricep extension is really over-exaggerating the squeeze at the bottom of the rep and controlling that weight up as much as we can all the way up. When we rush the tricep extension, we lose out on feeling, or if we go too heavy, you'll find it hard to really squeeze into that contraction every single rep. So it needs to be a weight that you're comfortable with, that you can do a solid 8 to 12 reps while still feeling the contraction in every point of that movement. So the main thing with tricep extensions, which is exactly the same as laterals, which I spoke on earlier, is that you've got to make sure that we're not overloading weight too much. What we need to think about is time under tension, the weight that we're moving, but also how many reps we're doing.
Between the gray skies, blurred lines waiting for the dawn. Forget about the outside, baby, for the first time. I can finally breathe. Maybe this is our night, nothing but a storm ride. And now I take the lead. Lose control and be alive again. Lose control, stop the world.
Gym session finished. God, look at them. I'm a cookie man at heart. So definitely looking forward to cookies post prep. Quick pit stop at Lidl. Few bits needs to grab. Cardio done. Ended up having to cut my arm session just a little bit short, only so that we can make sure to get cardio done on time. So got a few little bits, some chicken, some mince. Came into Lidl to get some little bits. Needed some chicken and some beef. How funny is this, right? Needed to find some double cream because my granddad's got some sort of roulade for the rest of my family or whatever, and they needed some double cream. They asked for a big pot. This is the biggest they had. So I don't think that's gonna do, but well, at least I got something. At least I got something, and then I can worry about the rest. 300 mil, bit measly.
Goods secured. Like I said, I only needed a top up, some chicken and some beef. So nothing too major. And obviously a little bit of double cream for the family. But like I said, I mean, a whole big dessert, I don't think that's gonna be big enough for them. But I mean, at least they have something. They can just use it sparingly. Obviously, I'm not having any. I decided that I didn't. Well, no, I didn't decide. I'm just not having any. It's quite interesting, actually, being on this prep. I'm just not necessarily craving any of those kind of cheat meals, or like, I don't go out. Even on the days I'll go out for the day, or I'll do something where I'm out of the house around food, I'm not craving any of it. I just don't really have an interest. And I think part of that is just, it sounds cringe, but I'm so locked in. No. I've tuned my brain enough at the moment to not really crave anything. I think the main thing that I would get a craving for is a cookie or something like that. Like, not even donuts, muffins, nothing like that. Literally just cookies, because I am a massive cookie person. I love my cookies to ends me. And I'm honestly a little bit of a cookie connoisseur. Like, I'll be a bit sad if I have a shit cookie. So I'm definitely looking forward to cookies post-prep. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've never been a fast food person. As you heard in my sit and chat video, I'm not a fast food person really at all. Like, I used to have them on the occasion, mainly because they're so readily available. That would be the only reason I would have one. It wouldn't even be because I like it or I was craving it. I don't really get that. Never crave a McDonald's, never crave like a KFC or anything like that. So I think I've always ate cleanly. Go home, get changed, shower, usual biz before work. I highly doubt I'm gonna film any more for the rest of this video, as I think I have quite a good amount of content for the video. Obviously, I'm just going to work and there's not really anything to document when I'm at work. So most likely I'm gonna probably end the video here. Session was good, pump was good. For a quick session like that, having a pump is quite surprising, but already seeing more veins and a tighter look. And obviously the tighter and the harder that we can look, the better we're gonna be on stage, the more lights out it's gonna be. So really happy with the position I'm in. My mental is definitely going all over the place, some days being more happy with the physique and some days being not upset, but not a content feeling of where I wanna be. But definitely right now, the mindset's really good. Energy and mental clarity has been an all-time high at the moment. Whether that's I'm still feeding off the food and that's gonna deplete over the next week or so. But at the moment, I'm running with it. I'm living for it. Very happy with having a bit more energy and being able to think clearer. On that note, thank you very much, guys, if you have watched the end of the video. And I appreciate you guys always. And hopefully I will see you in the next episode. Peace out.